Okay, so let me start again. Hello, Darkness is my name. I have been with Thermomix for coming on to 13 years now. I am one of the business development managers here in WA. And I promise this is our 5th state VCE. That's the acronym for our virtual cooking experience. And I promised I would wear a t-shirt that signifies all the places I've been around the world with Thermomix. And this one is from Auckland, New Zealand, with our branch logo on the back. So just a little bit of fun for you there. Now, I'm going to take you through some of the functions and features of the Thermomix today. I'm going to introduce you to 3 opportunities. The first opportunity is how you can have one of these VCEs in a more intimate setting with maybe you and a couple of friends and your consultant. The second opportunity is I'm going to show you how you can get one of these babies into your kitchen if you haven't got one already. And the third opportunity is how you can reduce the outlay of the Thermomix. And that's what Sandy was referring to before by letting you know that we've got this very short 10 to 15 minute business information session right at the end for those of you that might be interested in finding out about that. It is how I started 13 years ago. I purely came on board to earn my Thermomix. And I didn't think I was going to hang around, but look at me 13 years later, it's now become my career. And I absolutely love it, and I love sharing what I've learned about Thermomix and cooking with everyone. So without further ado, I'm going to show you 2 different types of cooking. Now, before we get into that, you're talking with your consultants in your chat boxes. Let them know what's important to you when you're cooking, because it's really good for us to know what is important, because that way we can highlight the functions and features of the Thermomix that fit into your life and your style of cooking. The other thing is, what's brought you here today? Is it curiosity? Do you want to see something specific? You want tips and hints? What is it? What is it that's brought you here today? Now, the 2 types of cooking that I promised I was going to show you is manual cooking and guided cooking. So they're the kind of 2 functions or the styles of cooking that we do with the Thermomix. And I'll go into some of the detail about the modes that you can access on your Thermomix as we're cooking. We're making a beautiful pizza Bianca today, and we're going to make a pumpkin soup with an Asian twist to it. And I'm going to give you a little bonus today that I didn't advertise out there, but you're just going to have to wait and see what that is while I'm cooking the pumpkin soup. Now, for those of you that know about our amazing Cookidoo platform, Sandy's actually going to introduce you and walk you through that a little bit later while we're cooking. But I just wanted to show you that I've saved my recipes. I've gone onto the Cookidoo platform and I've popped them into my week. And remember, as Sandy said, if you click on the little icon with the close-up screen with my name on it, you'll be able to see what I'm doing on the screen. But here I've got all the recipes. Oops, the bonus one is being seen right now. But I've got my pumpkin soup, my pizza Bianca, and my bonus. But I just wanted to show you that that's how I would access them if I save them in my week. I'm going to start and do the pizza Bianca. I've done it 100 times. I know the recipe inside out. So this is where manual cooking comes in for me. Who there, let your consultants know, is a throw-in cook, a creative cook that just cooks by creativity and from the top of their head. And then who are those people that love to follow a recipe to a T and don't really veer from the recipe? Or you might be someone like me who's a tweaker. And I'm somewhere in between. I like to have a recipe to start with, but then I usually never really follow it. I'll tweak it as I go, usually because I haven't really looked at the whole recipe and I have to substitute ingredients because I don't have them all. But Sandy's going to show you how you can avoid all of that with the Cookidoo a bit later. So with our pizza Bianca, I am actually following the recipe today because I figured that would be a good idea. But I'll give you the tweaks that I usually do when I'm making it I am at home, but for my family. Because I've got 5 in my family, so I like to increase this amount. What I'm going to do, the Thermomix has amazing functions on it, and one of those, and my favourite, is the scales. So I'm going to engage my scales. The feet of your machine are the scales, so they're really sensitive. Anywhere I touch is in actual fact going to measure, and they do weigh in 1 gram increments. I've got lukewarm water here. Yep, and I'm going to pour in about 220 grams of lukewarm water. Now, if you weren't, weren't confident that you knew how warm you needed the water, no fear. In the actual recipe, you would put just normal tap water or cold water in there, and then you would heat it up in the Thermomix at 37 degrees. But I'm trying to cut some time here because I'm aware that you guys are watching it from, virtually. I'm going to, in the warm water, pop my yeast, a sachet of yeast. And that's going in there. My handy helper's taking my rubbish away for me. And I'm going to now tear my scales, go back to 0. And this is the beauty of the scales, which saves you so much time with cooking. I'm now going to, even though it's got ingredients, I was able to tear it to 0 and now weigh in my baker's flour. So I want 400 grams of baker's flour. I didn't measure this before, so you could all see how gorgeously accurate it is in weighing. Not that I'm accurate, I've gone over the 400. In actual fact, let me show you a little tip. Usually that doesn't bother me, I'll just deal with it. But if the flour kind of sits right on top, so if I wanted to, I could take some out, like so. Okay, so now we want to put in just a little bit of salt, about a teaspoon of salt, and about 20 grams or 20 to 30 grams of olive oil. Let's go to 30 or 25, somewhere in between. All right, that is it. They are my 5 ingredients. It does have an optional extra there, which is the sugar. And sugar just helps to make your dough a little bit softer, last a little bit longer. But I find because I just make it as I need it, it takes only a minute to knead dough. So I want you to talk to your consultants about, have you ever kneaded your own dough? Have you made your own breads? If you haven't, why? Why don't you make them? Usually it's because it's really too time consuming, right? So I've got all my ingredients, 5 ingredients in there, and I'm just going to engage. I could put a time on that, which I am going to do. I'm going to put about 2 minutes. It takes anywhere between, oops, excuse the phone ringing in the background, 2 minutes. And in actual fact, sorry, I should have engaged our mode of kneading first. I can't find it. There it is. It's really different working from behind here. And now I'll put my 2 minutes on. So this is our manual, 2 minutes, and away it goes. So what it does when it kneads is it goes one way, resting in between 5 times, and then it goes on the reverse side of the blade, which is our blunt side of the blade, once. And then it continues that process and you get a really beautiful dough, which I'll show you in just a minute. I'm going to cross to Sandy, who's going to go through just a couple of slides before we come back to this.
Let's just get that share screen happening. So, so as Helen said, we've now got our all-inclusive price of $2,269, and we always have something up our sleeve which we always want to share with you, so keep that excitement there for you. I think Helen's got a little sneaky peek there tonight when she said she's got some tweaks. So I think we're going to see quite a bit of this inclusive package tonight, which I'm really excited to see how that all comes together. Absolutely fabulous payment options that are available, and you consult and we'll guide you through all that. And we'll talk a little bit more about what some of those payment options are and how we can really explore that a little bit further. We do love to excite and be relevant and inspire, and so we have a limited time offer when you purchase your Thermomix at that $2,269. It's our Eat Well at Home, and we know that every day this is front and centre and prime focus of eating well at home with your families, making things from scratch. And we've got the beautiful thermoserver, the 2.6 litre thermoserver, which is amazing, and we won't see, yes, we will see that today, which is awesome. It's like a thermos in a bowl for keeping food hot, and Helen will explain that a little bit more. But our everyday cooking for Thermomix families, isn't that what we're about? Say no more. So over to you, Helen.
Perfect. Okay, we've got 7 seconds to go. I realised there was one step I missed in this, which is why sometimes guided is a better option. But what I did miss, and it's not a huge deal, is to chop up my garlic and herbs first, because that's the toppings that are going to go onto the pizza Bianca. But that's okay. I'm going to take out my dough.
Helen, isn't that a great reason to have a second bowl?
Oh my gosh, yes. And if this was really wet inside, I would absolutely use my second bowl and blade, because it is super, super duper handy to have. And I'm going to use it in a little while once this is kind of a little bit dirty. But you can see it's actually not so bad. So I'm just going to continue on right now, putting in 2 cloves of garlic and a couple of sprigs of rosemary leaves. So that's just going to get chopped up very quickly. Back to home. And I'm going to go straight up to speed 6 or 7. Just for 5 seconds. Now, normally that would have been done first. I would take out as much of that as I can, pop that into a container that my husband's already packed away. It's too efficient. And look at that. Look at all of it chopped up. 2 cloves of garlic and my beautiful rosemary, which if you wanted it finer, you could scrape it down and then just pop it in there for a little bit longer, even maybe a speed 7. I'm just going to see if I can fit it all into this little tiny little container I've set aside for myself. There we go. That is all good. Okay. Done. Now that's going to just go aside, because that's going to be the topping to my my pizza Bianca in just a moment. I'm going to just fold this beautiful dough. It doesn't need any more kneading, but what I'm doing is just putting it into a little ball. And what I do like is to have just a little bit of oil on my hand, and I just coat it. So it's going to be easier for me to work with this just a little bit later on. All right, I'm going to fold it in my Thermomat, which you can get from the mix shop. Speak to your consultant about it. It is the best thing ever to roll out doughs on. It's non-slip. I raise my doughs, like I proof them in this mat. And so I fold it like a bit of a crescent. And then I leave just a little bit of space on either side so that there's room for it to grow. Okay, so that's going to sit just over here until I'm ready to use it again in just a moment. Okay, so I could, if I was doing this at home, if I mined these flavours in my soup, I would just continue on with the soup right now. But I'm making a bit of an Asian twist, and I don't really want rosemary in my pumpkin soup. So I'm going to use my next bowl blade lid set and go on to the pumpkin soup. All right. So I'm just getting the oil off my hands. Now we're going to go to where I showed you before, my week, where I've got my recipes there. Choose my pumpkin soup. And this is now guided cooking. Guided cooking is like your GPS on your car, where it will take you to a destination. In this case, our destination is the end result of this recipe. And these recipes on the Cookidoo platform have been triple tested. So if you follow them to a T, they work. They are awesome. And so I've got the recipe there. If you slide down, it will give you the ingredients. It will give you all the preparation steps. It even gives you your nutritional, your hints and tips, all of that. So right down the bottom in the hints and tips, I'll show you in a second when I get cooking, it will tell you the tweaks that I'm making to this today. So we're going to go start cooking. It says to pop in here 1 brown onion. And I'm just using my thermoserver, which is the gift with purchase until the end of April, as Sandy said before, and keeps food hot for 2 hours. So I've just popped all of my ingredients in there to keep them fresh and covered until I'm ready to use it. So we want an onion, 1 brown onion. That's going in there, cut it in half. Oops. Tip for you guys that have Thermomixes, you can switch on or off that little tone on when you're pressing the next, but I like it on because if I accidentally press the next button twice, I hear it and I know I've skipped a step. So where are we? Place one onion. Oh, see, I did it again. Okay, insert the measuring cup. Now, this is my tweak, and which is in the hints and tips. With the onion, I'm making it Asian style, so I'm actually going to pop in some basil because that's the flavour that I like, and a little bit of ginger. Now, if you're a little bit more adventurous than what I am, you could put a little bit of chili in there. Instead of basil, you could put coriander, you could put a bit of lemongrass, whatever flavours you like, that's what you could pop in there so that you can make it, give it that Asian flavour. So I've got just the ones that I like, and I'm going to chop them up in 3 seconds, and chopping speed 5 is all I need because this is going to get pureed a bit later on as well. That's 3 seconds, I think it was, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like without breathing it in, because then I might just have a crying moment. Look how amazing that is. So that's chopped, all of those ingredients, the ginger, the onion, the basil, which is homegrown basil, which I'm quite proud of, because usually I'm not very good at growing anything. Okay, we're scraping down the sides as it's telling us. It's now asking for 20 grams of butter. I'm not having any lactose at the moment, so I'm just replacing the butter with olive oil. So there you go, I am drinking it, but that's just because I have to eat this afterwards and I want to be able to eat it. So no lactose in this. I'm putting about 20 grams of olive oil in there. We're going to go next, telling us to insert the measuring cup, and it's got 3 minutes on the clock. It's now selected 120 degrees because we're sauteing this onion, and we're just going to put it onto speed 1. That onion managed to grab hold of my eyes. I might just have a moment of emotional moment. Okay, so 3 minutes of time. While it's going, let me show you how you can get back to the recipe so that you can have a look at what's the next ingredient. So if you're anything like me, I tend to not have all my ingredients ready like I do today. I tend to just get them as I need them out of the cupboard because while it's sauteing, my hands are free, right? I get to do other things, multitask. So if you press these 3 little dots here and go into the recipe details, I get back to that first screen I showed you. And what I can see here are all the steps, all the ingredients, so I can look at what I need next. And in the hints and tips and variations here, this is where it says Asian style pumpkin soup. And it's telling you add fresh ginger, peeled, red or green chili, de-seeded, your coriander, lemongrass, and then chop it with the onion for 3 seconds on speed 7. So that's kind of the adjustments. If I want to go back, I'll just press continue. You can hear that sizzling. I'm not sure if you can, but you can see it steaming up right now. There are things that come with the Thermomix. It comes with everything you need. It includes the splash guard. It includes your steaming basket. So we're not using any of these today. Oh man, that actually just got me. Yeah, my husband's got the tissues ready for me. It's okay. Butterfly. That's for whipping and creaming and emulsifying, and the Varoma, which we are going to use today because that's my bonus for you today, but I'll tell you how we're going to use it once we get the pumpkin soup on and ready to go. So the high heat splash guard, where I'm needing that tissue, is when you are actually using the hottest temperature we have, which is about 160 to 170 max, and you can only access it through the guided cooking, but that requires this splash guard on top. So if you speak to a consultant and want to see these things in action, that's how you can have your own little VCE with your own people and see some specific dishes that you really want to, find out more about. Just speak with your consultant about what those dishes might be. Oh, it's all happening here today. We've got my dog going. You've got me crying and having a sook. The steam's going. We've got 27 seconds. I just want to show you when you swipe right. Oops, let me press home. It bookmarks my recipe so I don't lose where I'm at. And if I if I swipe right, I'm now on the Cookidoo platform and I can search for some recipes on here if I'm looking for something different or wanting to check out Cookidoo. If I swipe left, then I've got my modes. So today you've seen knead, you've seen chop, you're seeing the saute at the moment. You can do sous vide, slow cooking. We're going to blend today. It goes automatically back to my recipe once that's done. And I might just go back to home just to quickly show you the remainder of those. You've got your rice cooker, you've got a kettle function. So, you know, you don't even have to use a kettle. You can actually use your Thermomix as a kettle as well. With fermentation, you can make your own yogurts. With, you know, sous vide and slow cook, you've got restaurant quality meals at home. So there's so many reasons why the Thermomix is such an amazing investment. And when I say amazing, you're going to save so much money that you're going to actually be able to pay for the Thermomix. It's going to pay for itself within about a year. All right, so let's go back to the bookmark. It's telling me to add my pumpkin. That's sauteed beautifully. I'll see if I can show you. So it's just made them sweat, those onions. They've gone slightly translucent in colour. And now we're going to pop in our 500 grams of pumpkin and some carrot. I've got them both in the same, they have been pre-measured. I've peeled my pumpkin because it was the Kent pumpkin, but you could leave the skin on. I've done it with Kent pumpkin. And butternut pumpkin, for sure leave the skin on because it's going to get pureed. You won't even know that it's there. So let's just pop in all of those, and we're going to skip and bypass the next step. And it's got the carrot in there. It's asking us to put the measuring cup on. And when it says measuring cup, it always means the lid. Who is wowed by that? I'm dropping and dripping, it's just steam. But look at that, the measuring cup actually stays in place. It also lessens the sound of your Thermomix by 5 decibels. So it's pretty awesome. All right, so now it's telling me 15 seconds. It's going to chop it on speed 7. Speed 7, depending on what speed you put it on, is going to depend on the size of your end result. So the higher you go, the smaller the end result is. So here we want speed 7 for 15 seconds. Done. Now you would have heard, because it was at 85 degrees, the bowl, what it does when it blends like that, chops at a high speed, speed 7, it goes slow and then it speeds up because it doesn't know how much liquid you have in there or ingredients that are hot. So that's a safety feature that kicks in. So we want to scrape down the side of our bowl, but look at how, I need a camera from my ceiling, I think. Look at how nicely chopped that is. So that's now going to take much less time to cook because it's already chopped really hard pumpkin and carrot. I'm just going to get as much of that off the lid as I can so all those ingredients get incorporated. There will be no wastage here tonight. That's the other thing I love about my Thermomix. So now we want 500 grams, I'm going to tear it, of water. So I am going to grab my water, put 500 of that. What kind of soups do you guys love the most? Especially with winter and the colder weather coming on. Have a think about what soups you love. Maybe your consultants can show you that in the video. All right, now you can adjust this a little bit if you want to, depending on if you like it thicker, if you like it thinner. That's where the Thermomix is there to complement your cooking. It doesn't have to take over the way you cook or everything, you know, everything you do, but it definitely complements and you are still in control. So you are still, you know, able to, even in a guided recipe, tweak. There are a few guidelines which a consultant can go through that you need to follow and be aware of, but, you know, by all means, play, get creative. So we've got 500 of water in there. We want to put some of our, what we call liquid gold. That is our vegetable stock concentrate, which when you get your Thermomix, your consultant will do a virtual delivery briefing where they will guide you to make this stock. It is the base for pretty much all of our dishes. Once you make this, you will not go back to buying stock at the shops. It is the best. 1 tablespoon of this concentrate in a litre of water is your 1 litre of stock, which you're paying about $4 for at the shops. So that is 1 tablespoon. It has got the salt content in there to preserve it. So you've got to be mindful you don't always have to put a lot of extra salt in there. So I'm just going to pop in 1 nice heaped tablespoon of this veggie stock. I pretty much use it in everything. Maybe those of you that have a Thermomix and have made this can let the rest of your groups know how you like the veggie stock concentrate. All right, we're going to pop in our measuring cup now. And now it's going to cook for 20 minutes on 100 degrees, speed 1. So I'll just turn that on. And then I'm going to get to the pizza before we get to cross over to Sandy to go through some of the Cookidoo, tour of Cookidoo. So I'm just going to move the thermo server aside. I pre-made a batch of dough, which is really funny because I wrapped in my other mat and it's dying to get out of there. It's popping out. So I'm going to open up that dough right now. Screaming together. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just wipe down my spatula, is cut that in half. This will make 2 large pizzas, or you could make 4 smaller pizzas. Please only ever use like a spatula on these thermomats so you don't cut through them. So I'm going to do something different with this dough in just a minute. You can roll this out if you want to with a rolling pin. I've just got a pizza tray which I've lightly oiled. I'm going to use my fingers. So let's just wipe down the oil off my mat. Pop that on there. Then I'm just going to literally, I don't know if you can see it, maybe my husband might angle it down just a tad. You can just bring it forward just a tad, leave it in its position, that's it, perfect. Okay, so I'm literally just using my fingertips to push it down and push it over to the corners till I get it to where I want it to be. In the meantime, I would have had my oven on 220 degrees, and that would have been a preheated oven because pizza dough does not need 2 risers. The tip that I was going to share with you about pizza dough is that when I'm making mine, I'll use the bread dough quantities, which is 500 grams of flour in total. And where it says 100 grams of whole wheat, I actually replace that with semolina. It gives a really nice firm crust and it makes a slightly larger amount of dough. This one is 400 grams of flour with 220 of water. So you can use just your normal basic bread dough. If you didn't want to put semolina in it, just instead of the whole wheat, put another 100 grams of flour, so 500 in total. I also, if I'm not making pizza Bianca, I like to pre-bake or blind bake my bases before I put the toppings on. Because sometimes what you'll find is that by the time the toppings are ready, the base is not quite done yet. So by blind baking it for 5 minutes beforehand, getting it a little bit nice and golden brown on bottom, then putting the toppings on top, it's perfect. So what I'm going to do now on that is the garlic and herb, rosemary. My brain's not working. Okay, and I'm just going to push it to the sides so that this is where your kids can help out. They like getting their fingers and their hands dirty. So that's looking beautiful. I'm going to sprinkle some rock salt or flaked salt on top. Like so. Beautiful. And a little drizzle of olive oil. And that's ready to go. So that would go into the preheated oven, which I won't turn on right now because it's right behind me and it makes a little bit of a sound with the fan, but I'll cook that later. How do we like that? Is that super easy, people? Was that something that you think you could do at home? You absolutely can. So the rest of the dough, there's the bonus tip for you today, guys. This is going to cook up and it's going to start steaming here on top. Now, it's not on varoma temperature. Varoma temperature is usually the temperature you need to use the varoma, which is the steaming part, but it's still going to produce enough steam to get things started. And if it's not quite ready, whatever it is that you're wanting to steam on top, then once this is ready, my soup, you take your soup out, replace it with some hot water or boiling water, and then continue steaming. So what you can do, I'm going to use the lid as a tray underneath, and I'm going to take a little bit of this and make just little balls, right? So they're going to become like little tiny miniature dumplings that I'm going to pop on top. I've just spray oiled my tray here, and I can pop these on top, put a couple of them there. You could bulk up with some veggies on top, you could steam some chicken, you could pretty much do anything you want. So that's basically what I would do. I'm just kind of folding it in to make a little pocket of air so that it will rise lovely in there. And the other bonus I've got for you is that I've also got dessert here. Now, you're actually going to have to edit it down for me, because I don't know if you've ever seen this beautiful cupcake pen. In here is sticky date pudding mixture. And over here is our sticky date pudding thing. Can I get you to lift it up? I know it's a bit awkward. We've never done this before, but I'm just going to use my cupcake pen. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I think you can. And I'm going to use the cupcake pen to fill up my sticky date pudding. Okay, so that's done. Just a little bit forward on the base so you can see my head. That's going on top, which I'll continue filling up in a second. The measuring cup comes off, and then this sits on top of the Thermomix to steam while we're cooking our 20 minutes. So we've got about 13 more minutes to go. So I'm going to now cross over to Sandy, and Sandy's going to go through and take you on a tour, a culinary tour of our Cookidoo platform. Sandy, over to you, babe.
Oh, thank you, Helen. Thumbs up, Helen, that's all good. You can see in here. Awesome, Helen, this is really mean. We've got this beautiful dessert that you're cooking. I can smell the pizza even though the oven's not on, and it's nearly dinner time for everyone. So isn't that just brilliant? And I absolutely love your little tips and your bonus tips there. So value for money today, guys. That's brilliant. So this is our Cookidoo recipe platform. It is, you're going to be, if you're not using it yet, it's your go-to place. It's your planning place. It's where you're going to save a lot of money. It's where you're going to help those family members who might be a little bit fussy, but it's also going to be where you can, you know, work out if you've got family intolerances with dietary intolerances. So this is Cookidoo. You can actually jump on after this session today and sign up for a 30-day free trial. Have some fun and explore, what can I do in my Thermomix? My experience is that the biggest part of your thinking in what will I use my Thermomix for is seeing what the things that you like to do at home, whether the Thermomix can do that. So this is where you can play by typing in the search explore bar there, all the dishes that you might want to see, whether the Thermomix can do that. And you know what? They will be very surprised if they can't, because it's a growing library of over 50,000 recipes that covers off 12 languages across 18 countries and regions. So that's just an exciting all on its own. So you can see here I've got my search bar. Now this is joined into my site. So I'm just thinking, you know what, today actually turned a little bit chilly. So let's type in here soup. So I'm thinking now, you know what, I'm looking like I might be getting into that soup season. So I can just do a search for soup. And that's going to straight away just take me over to, I can see there I've got 688 recipes found that can bring up soup. That's going to inspire me. And if you can't find a soup in there, you know what, we can go further. So if I literally just take out the Australia, because this is where my, oops, don't you love that when your computer just pops up and does things on you? We're having fun today. So this is where my filters are going to be. So here then I've got Australia. If I take out Australia as a filter, it will then take me out to the broader search. It's going to go out to those countries and regions that I spoke about. And that now takes that to 5,320 results found. So that's actually pretty amazing just on its own there. So I can actually have a little look through and see all the awesome goodness in there, and you'll see that there's different languages in there. So you'll see once I actually go more into my filters how you probably might be able to speak other languages, so you'll be able to search into those as well. So I've just gone general with soup, and it's taking me out to the broader field. Now I really might want to filter it down. I could click into here with soups if I actually hadn't have typed soups into the explore button, and I've already put that in, so that's okay. You might be then just looking for inspiration around different parts of a meal. Like I say, what a great time to have a virtual progressive dinner where you could have different families cooking amazing dishes, where you could go into people's homes. So you could actually, if you were on the desserts, you could easily just go into the desserts to find something. But we're onto the soup menu here at the moment, and so you can see all the categories there to if you want to actually prepare and plan by categories. This is probably where you're really looking at the important part of your everyday life, is the go-to time when it comes to cooking for the family. And you know what, you can see with that guided cooking how the family can very much get involved with making that meal, having fun with the pizzas like Helen mentioned. So you've got your preparation time, and you've got your total time. So you could click into those filters if you were thinking, well, let's go for a total time of 45 minutes to see what it can bring up. That's now given me 2,789 results. I actually have the great functionality of portion sizing. That's a new word. So sometimes people think that Thermomix won't feed their larger families. Trust me, get into Cookidoo, you certainly will. Or it can be the flip side where you're thinking, you know what, it's only me and hubby home now, or just me home. Does it seem silly to get a Thermomix? It's not silly, it's super smart. It's actually really hard to cook for yourself or just two of you. It's actually easier to cook for a group of people. And so that's where you can actually put those portion sizes in. But I'm actually okay to let it land where it lands on this search. Sometimes we like to know what people have tried and tested, so we can actually just filter by ratings, and we actually get to rate recipes as well. So that's pretty cool as well. We have some fabulous Thermomix models out there, and so you might click the model which you have. So I'm just going to click on the TM6 model and the language. So this is where, once you know, well, you do know what languages you can speak, you can go into that one there. So let me have a little look. I might go into well, actually I'll just go into English. I was going to say I can often go into the this will now take me into the regions where I can choose that. So then when I go into my regions, I might think English. Let's have a look at the UK, what lovely soups they will have to inspire me. So there's 211 results that I've filtered down into all those searches. So the pumpkin soup, which is one that Helen's done here today, and you can see that it would be a similar recipe. But anytime you find a recipe, this is where the magic happens. So when you actually click on a recipe, oops, it's just my little internet's taking a bit of time. Straight away, I can, oh, it's actually gone into the UK site, which normally that takes me straight in, but that's where you can actually go sign up for free. So that's just a little bit of different functionality for me here today. And let me go back. We'll go back into, so it won't matter which one you go into, but what you'll do is, it will sign in. There we go, sign up for free. So that'll take me in, because once you are registered with one, you actually registered with all the other platforms around the world as well. So that's the added bonus of that. When you join Thermomix Cookidoo in Australia, you have that same functionality that you can actually go through to the other one. And so this recipe platform has just sometimes changes a little bit, which it's doing for me today. But let's see if my internet's going to be quick enough to take me into. Normally you just jump into those countries. Oh, okay, so it's just taken me through the whole, but that's good. You've actually got to see which one you've got to see how to actually sign up and join up. So let me go back into Australia, and we love that, you know what, we get different little things that pop up all the time. And so let's stick with what we know and what's working today. Broccoli soup with sage, which is absolutely beautiful. I think I've actually logged out. It's logged me out. That's what it's done. Sorry, guys. It must have just clicked and logged me out. Cook today. So now I'm back in. So I can straight away go into the cook today, or I'm just not sure whether I want to. So once I do the cook today, I'll actually put in my planner. I can have a little look through the whole recipes and everything that I'm doing here now. Helen showed you that you can do on your Thermomix. So that's the really added benefit of when you're hands-free, that you can do these things. I then might now want to do my menu planning, plan the week or the day of the week that I want to do that cooking. And the great thing around menu planning is that this is where the dollars really save, and there's no better way to save money than by planning and using Cookidoo and using up the ingredients in your home that need to be used up. I also want to add that to my shopping list because I'm just not sure if I've got everything in there. The good thing around that is that I can actually go through and do my menu planning. When I've done all my menu planning and I then I think I'm finished, I can click on my week. And in my week, it creates my shopping list. So this is all my menu planning that I have been creating. And so it will show, I could take out some of that if I actually change my mind, etc. But here now that I have the show ingredients, one of the wonderful things about our shopping list is that it's an editable shopping list. And so this shopping list means that I can actually take out the things that I have, and I can also add in the things that I might need. You'll know how you like to view this shopping list by category, or you might like to view it just by the recipe, and you might find that an easier way to manage. So you think, I've got that, I've actually got garlic, I've got olive oil, etc. So you can go through and take out the things that you know that you have at home, and then down in the add button, and this is just when you're viewing by recipes, is where you might want to add that really elusive toilet paper, which has been everyone's finding it really hard to get. So you can put into there, I don't know, tea, etc., tea leaves, and add that, whatever that looks like. So that what now means that you're not ending up with everything. You can actually really bring that down to what you actually need. You then go to the options, and then you share, and you can then copy that, and you know what, you send it to the person who's doing the shopping, or send it to yourself if you think you're doing that later. And that's one of the amazing features of what the menu planning is. And what we're going to talk about a little bit is, Helen touched on that as well, meaning is that the Thermomix can save you money. So I've got another little promotion to promote in a little, which I'll actually share that now, is that there's 36 months interest free currently on offer. And so what I want you to consider is the things that are in your shopping trolley now, or your shopping basket now. What's in there is where you'll save your money that will pay your Thermomix off. So it's not a whole new little pocket of money that you potentially have to find. So have a think about some of the things you buy. With my Thermomix in my kitchen, which I know is going to save me time, and I can do things quickly, and my family can get involved, and my consultant's going to support me in making the magic happen. What are some of the things that I would actually like to make that I'm now currently buying? And you'll see even in one simple perhaps ingredient or dish item that you buy, and I use things like cheesy mite scrolls or Vegemite scrolls as an example, because they can be a popular snack which you feed the children, and you can make them for about 49 cents each. So depending on what you're paying for them, I actually don't know the price of them to buy, but you know, you could make a lot of savings there, potentially, you know, $5 on savings there just on one item of a cheesy mite scroll. So it's in the spending time with your consultant to help you to understand the things which you are now buying. I have time, they're quick, my family can get involved, or even if they can't get involved, I'm happy to do it because I can be in control of the menu planning and making things from scratch. And we know fresh raw ingredients is a lot more affordable to buy than the processed and the packaged food. So that's where the menu planning and the Cookidoo, and really connecting your thinking into that amazing investment that the Thermomix will make into where where am I going to use it? And your Cookidoo is going to be where you'll do that. So one good thing to even consider is, what will I use my Thermomix for, is to think about that 2-litre saucepan that's in your cupboard that you get out and that you're cooking with probably every day, because a 2-litre saucepan is your standard saucepan. So what am I doing in that saucepan? So the things that you're doing in that saucepan probably are the things that you can actually do in your Thermomix. So that's a good little visual for you. And what you'll also find now is that every time you go into that cupboard and get out that saucepan, you can think, oh, I've had my Thermomix, this is what I could do it for. So it's a great little connection, connecting you to your investment into the usage of your Thermomix there as well. So one other little thing which I can show you is that, so I put in soups, which I've typed into there, and this might be a recipe that I think I absolutely love. You know that we've gone through all the filters, but what we have here is, I actually might want to, it might become one of my really favorite recipes, which, looking at the picture, it very well might become one of my favorites, is that I mightn't want to, each time I want this to find this recipe, go through the whole search. So I want to make it quick and easy, because that's what Thermomix and Cookidoo is all about. So I'm going to add to a collection. Now our collections, so when we also filter, I will show you, you can filter by recipes or collections. Recipes is the whole library, which collections include, but collections are broken down into our bigger books, which are part of the collection, or our mini e-collections, which are around 10 to 12 recipes. But I actually might want to create my new collection. So I actually might start that collection of soups, family or savoury, whatever I want that to look like. I can create my own collection. Now that might be mum's favourites, dad's favourites, kids' snacks, you can savoury sauces, sweet sauces, whichever way that is, that can be very specific, so that you literally then would go into your recipes. You would actually go into your, these are all my created collections. That gives you an idea of the creative collections. And so you don't have to troll through the whole thing. So over to you, Helen.
Thanks so much, Sandy. The collections are my favourite. Each of my kids have a collection. So out of my 3 kids, it's, you know, Celeste's favourites, James's favourites, even my husband's got a collection, and they just find recipes they like and pop it into their collection. So they have risen a little bit. They still need just a tad more. And this bottom part needs a tad more as well with my sticky dough puddings. They're halfway cooked, but that's okay, because I could have chosen to just keep going and cook my soup a little bit longer. Or, like I said before, I can do what I need to do with my soup and then put boiling water in there, and away we go. I'm not going to make you sit around until we finish cooking all of this, because you get the idea. It was really just to show you the function of layered cooking and what you can do with your Thermomix. So the next thing is to add some pouring cream. In the Asian twist, you actually replace the cream with some coconut cream. So I'm going to pop that in here. It says 30 grams. I'm going to up it just a little bit, maybe just over double, because I really like coconut cream. I like it to be nice and creamy. And the spatula that comes with the Thermomix is just so awesome, because you can really scrape in any spills on that lid. Next, we're going to put in a measuring cup, and this is now the blend function. So it's going to take us for 1 minute onto no heat applied. This is just the heat that it's currently at, and it's going to take us to speed 9, but it starts to speed 5. It's actually guiding me through it. If I didn't want to be guided and wanted it to do it by itself, that's when I could go to my blend mode that you saw before, put the minute on there, and it would do it for me. But I want to show you how we're just going to follow the recipe. So we go to speed 5, and then we're just gradually going to go up to speed 9.
We've got a little bit of background noise there, but I'm actually just going to share that I said to you we've got our 36 months interest-free. So 36 months interest-free is as simple as $16.26 a week. When I spoke to you around identifying what's in your shopping trolley that you can already pay for your Thermomix off, the money's there. So honestly, you can actually pay your Thermomix off in a very short amount of time. If you're particularly into juicing and doing a lot of those smoothies, etc., I know there's a great savings in just that one thing that you might be buying as well. But I want to also share with you before we go over to Helen is our hosting. So hosting and learning. So we have amazing consultants who love to support you in using your Thermomix, you know, all day, every day, for whatever you want to use it for. These are some of the fantastic host offers that we have, and that's why we spoke about the bowl blade lid. That's a limited time offer, host offer, but there's some fabulous thermo servers, the mats which Helen's used today. If you're a TM5 owner, a cook key as well. Hosting is about learning, and we always say the more times you get together virtually or non-virtually and have fun cooking with your consultant, you're going to learn more about your Thermomix than you ever would have, and it's going to inspire you and motivate you to do things which you may not have even thought about before. So back to you, Helen.
Thanks, Sandy. Okay, so that is just the most amazing soup. After 1 minute of blending, you've got this beautiful creamy consistency. In actual fact, I remember George Columbaris used to say you just can't get pumpkin soup like you do in the Thermomix. Chefs love it for how creamy, how smooth sauces and soups can be. So I'm going to pour it into my thermoserver, which, remember, keeps food hot for about 2 hours. I'm going to use my spatula as a splash guard, so I pour it onto the spatula so it doesn't spray out anywhere. I don't know if you could see that, how creamy that was as I was pouring. And even if you had the skin, that would have been broken down into that beautiful, beautiful soup. Let's see if I can just give you, oh, it smells amazing. I'm really excited about dinner tonight. There we go. So that's the pumpkin soup done. And like I said before, I would just throw in there about 1 litre of water, heat that up, and then put it onto Varoma temperature and continue steaming those puddings maybe for another 15 minutes till they were ready. And then I can make the sauce to then put it on top while they're cooling down. All right, so that is pretty much it in terms of what we're showing you today. Let's go back to those 3 opportunities that I mentioned at the beginning. Firstly, let your consultants know, did you enjoy seeing these 2 dishes? Did you learn something? What were the hints and tips that you took away from these? Because the great news is, guys, you can have as many of these VCEs as you like. And right about now, we're kind of not doing as much in terms of going out. In fact, we're not going out at all unless it's exercise or work. So, you know, what else could you do but learn and grow? Use this time to grow and, you know, expand on your knowledge in the kitchen and your food that you have to be feeding your family day in, day out. So you can speak to your consultant about having your own VCE, chat about what kind of recipes you want to see in that. As Sandy mentioned, you get access to host rewards. So that's that first opportunity. The second, speak to your consultant about how you can get one on your bench. There's 3 different types of payment options. The most favourable one at the moment is to join up, reduce the outlay, and you can get your Thermomix into your kitchen by becoming a consultant and doing some of these sorts of things. The great thing is you've got a flexible business that you can work from home. But for those of you that are interested in that side of the business, in that aspect and reducing the outlay, then hang on here. We might even have some customers who already have Thermomixes that are interested in doing that. You can hang 5 after we're finished here, and while we wait for everyone to drop off, and then we will continue with about a 10-minute very short introduction to how you can become a consultant and reduce that outlay. The last and very popular option is for 36 months interest free. So you can get your Thermomix today. I think it's about $16 a week that it works out to, and the money that you save per week will absolutely go towards paying your Thermomix. So that is it from me today and from Sandy. Anything else I missed, Sandy?
No, fantastic, Helen. As I said, it smells amazing. We can smell it. We're trying to work on getting the smell happening here. And I love I love the tip that you can continue to steam just by putting water in there, because that's going to clean your bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. that's the other thing. Like, while we're waiting for everybody who doesn't want to be part of the business information session, if you go into the modes and you go to the pre-clean function, I could put some water in there with a drop of detergent and just turn my dial to the pre-clean, and it even does a pre-clean for you, which makes washing up so much easier.
Yes, rinse and go. That's awesome. So it's the one-stop shop between Thermomix, Cookidoo, the amazing accessories which come with hosting and purchasing. It's complete. It's absolutely complete, Helen, which, yeah, we had a lot of fun.
And this is that book. This is the book that you get as a gift purchase, by the way. One of my absolute favourite books.
Open up something, Helen. Yes.
My favourites are all in the dessert section. This coconut butter cake, in fact, is the cake that I used to use as my examples of how much I love the scales, because that to make takes 40 minutes without a Thermomix, but to do it in your Thermomix takes 3 minutes.
Awesome. And also your virtual cooking experiences that you're having a lot of fun with your consultants are eligible for your host rewards. So we're doing everything in the virtual world that we do face to face. So you want to know more and you're like, how can that happen? Chat to your consultant. We've got this all covered. So hosting's about learning. We can make the impossible possible. So yeah, talk to your consultant. They'll help you with that.